Greetings, peace be with you. In this video, I'm going to be revealing to you why semen retention is the ultimate cheat code in life and how you can implement it to become the conscious creator of your reality. Okay, I'm going to be sharing with you the number one tip you can use to instantly implement this conscious creation mentality into your life. So make sure to stick to the very end of this video where I'm going to be sharing that with you. Okay, so the greatest realization for me in my life really came down when I realized that life is the ultimate video game, right? And like on an intellectual level, I'm like, yeah, life is a video game, but life is literally like a video game. Like we have this avatar over here, right? This avatar goes throughout its trials and tribulations and it learns stuff and it levels up. And there's basically, like, if we can narrow it down, like about 4 to 5 different levels or 4 to 5 different categories that we can level up in, right? For example, there's a health category, right? There's so many different aspects of our health which we can train. First and foremost, getting fit, getting lean, getting muscular. And then that is only the tip of the iceberg. Then we get into movement, into functionality, all of these different things, right? Then there is the wealth, right? The finances. Are we actually able to facilitate the resources that allow us to experience all that we want to experience, right? Then it's the relationships, right? Are we actually cultivating those deep, fulfilling, passionate relationships with like-minded people? And then it all comes together at the end of the day through the lens of our meaning, right? Of our spirituality, of why we are here. And like leveling up in all these different categories is really what allows us to experience fulfillment, right? When our life is firing on all of these different categories is when we are able to actually experience all that we are here to experience, right? So there's 4 to 5 different levels, however you want to categorize it. There's a bunch of different models that we can use. There's also like 12 categories, 14 categories, but at the end of the day, it's like your personal life, your work life, your relationships, and then they're basically captured by your spirituality in terms of why you are here and what meaning you seek to create in your life, right? So if we narrow it down to those 3 categories or 4 or 5 categories, then we realize that semen retention actually helps us accelerate each one of those categories. Okay, for example, in the area of health, let's say you want to get in shape, let's say you want to eat healthier, let's say you want to go to the gym, let's say you want to improve in the area of your physical development. Okay, now everyone knows that if you want to improve our physical development, like the basic foundation, okay, eat right and move, right? I mean, it's not like anyone doesn't know it, but why is it that they don't do it? Why is it that we have so many people, like the majority of the American population, that is overweight or obese, right? So it's logic, it's pretty simple, we know what to do, but then the result is actually not turning out how we want, right? So why is that the case? Well, of course, there's the whole ulterior agenda of the food industry, of the medical industry, to keep us sick so that we're dependent on the meds. But let's just discount that for a second and say that, okay, we know what to eat, right? For example, I went through the journey. I'm like, I want to get in shape. I'm not supposed to eat all of this sugar. I know I'm supposed to go to the gym, but I didn't do it because I didn't feel like it, because I was driven through my senses. And this is an idea that I keep on coming back to again and again and again, because it's just that important that you are not your senses, you are not your mind, you are not your body. And as I discussed in a previous video, I'll link out to it over here on the top 5 benefits of semen retention. The first benefit that I listed is that of self-awareness, because once you can actually make the decision, okay, that construction is messing me up. But once you can actually make the decision to, damn man, I hope I don't have to restart this video. But once you can make the decision to actually go ahead and act in alignment with what you deem to be valuable, right? I think I have to go a bit more back so that you guys don't get disrupted with the volume. But once you make that decision in terms of what is actually important to you, in terms of what you are here to do, in terms of what is the one thing that is going to benefit you most, then you can actually elevate beyond the level of your conditioning of your body, right? You realize that you don't have to make decisions in alignment with your body. You can just do what needs to be done according to your vision rather than how you have been conditioned with your senses, right? Because once we can let go of our senses, of the desire to move towards pleasure and away from pain, then we can let go of the need to go and eat the sugar, right? To let go of the need to watch TV, because we are able to control our senses, right? Even though we feel a certain way, we act a certain way according to our vision rather than what we have been conditioned, right? So of course, taking care of your health comes down to taking care of your mind and making yourself do the things that need to be get done, right? And then in terms of wealth, okay, let's talk about that for a second as well. Like, chances are that, you know, you have a certain situation with your finances, you have a certain emotional relationship with money, right? That is the case with all of us. We all have a certain relationship with money. And what is that relationship? Because at the end of the day, it's like nothing more than a resource. It's nothing more, I mean, in my eyes, right? It's nothing more than a means to an end. It's nothing more than a byproduct of doing work that makes an impact on people, right? Because when I was a kid, there's a lot of conditioning, again, around the idea. I used to think that, okay, if rich people are greedy, right? Rich people stab people in the back. Oh, I don't need that much money, right? Rather than understanding that money is the great facilitator, it allows us to go and create and maximize and accelerate the impact that we strive to create in the world. Like, if I want to go ahead and build schools in Africa, if I want to go educate the underprivileged, all of that requires money, right? So first and foremost, getting clear on the relationship. And where does semen retention come into this? Well, realizing that someone up there is watching my video. I don't want to be like talking about semen retention. My mom's just saying, oh, what are you talking about semen retention? I don't know if she watches my videos anyway, but the thing is, right, like, if you want to generate a certain amount of income in your life, you have to demonstrate a certain amount of behaviors in your life as well, right? So, like I've talked about in previous videos, semen is the source of your creative energy, right? When you are able to creatively visualize what that future looks like, how does it feel to be wealthy, right? Actually signaling your brain, signaling your body before the situation in the future takes place is driven through your creativity, right? The more you can visualize the future that you seek to create, which is associated with your abundance, right? Maybe you might not have the physical material environment around you that is in alignment with what your higher self knows is possible for you. But once you engage in the practice of semen retention is when you can go and expand your creativity. And that is when you can go and expand your possibility of what is around you, right? Because in terms of wealth, it comes down to having clarity in terms of what value you seek to create in the marketplace, right? And if you don't have that clarity, it's probably because of a lack of creativity, right? And that creativity is, again, rooted back to your life force energy, which is your semen, right? So where I'm going with all of this, like, it comes down to what Napoleon Hill said in his book, Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't checked it out, like, I don't know what you're doing, because that's really the foundation for personal development. And he says that, one of the first exercises that he gets you to do in the reading of the book is to write down what number you want to hit in your business, in your income, right? What date you want to hit it in, and what service you seek to create to the marketplace, right? Ideally creating a situation where your wealth is generated through an interaction where everyone benefits, right? And at the end of the day, it comes back to your creativity, right? If you don't have that creativity to know how you can actually be of value to the marketplace, it's probably because you are letting your life force go. It's probably because without the life force, you only think about yourself, me, you're trapped in survival, rather than expanding your horizon and realizing that you are here to create value for the lives that you touch. And of course, it roots back to your lifestyle practices that you engage in every single day, right? Now, the third key thing over here, which is our relationships, right? How does semen retention factor into that? So I've talked about pornography a lot in the past as well, right? So the fact is that there's a difference between nofap and semen retention. I'll link out to a video over here that goes deeper into that. But when we are conditioned with the pornography, that is when we get to a point where there's a part of our brain known as the ventral striatum, right? That is associated with actually making connections and deep, genuine associations with people, right? When you have a hug with someone, like, that is the part of your brain that's activated. But that part of the brain also gets activated when you watch pornography, right? And therefore it gets hijacked. Therefore there's not enough space left. And therefore the part of your brain that was originally developed to seek that deep, passionate, meaningful relationship with someone gets hijacked by pixels on the screen, right? Getting that pleasure, getting that dopamine. And I experienced this in my life where I was busting nuts to pixels on the screen. And when I was actually there around a girl that I was attracted to, that I really liked, I couldn't get excited because my brain had been conditioned, right? People talk about increasing their testosterone so that they can get a hard on. But the reality is that the process that leads to your erection actually starts in the brain with the dopamine release. And with the pornography, the dopamine gets hijacked, and therefore we are unable to actually form deep, meaningful connections in our life, right? And then of course with the spirituality as well, I've made a bunch of other videos on this, but realizing that sex and spirituality are completely on two sides of the same coin, right? Because I was conditioned in my life with the shame, with the guilt associated with sexuality, with my own sexual, oh, don't take your shirt off, like it's gonna be shameful for you to show your body, or all of this stuff. In my culture I was brought up in, I think this is also a common theme throughout a lot of different cultures in the world as well. But once I started diving deep into Taoism and Tantra, realizing that it is actually a bridge, sexuality, to deeper levels of spirituality in our lives, right? Once we can have that experience of transferring that sexual energy within our body, of communicating it between the channels of us and our partner, the division between us and our partner disappears, the division between subject and object disappears, you become one with all that is. And that is when you see the reality of unity, right? So as you can see, it is really the ultimate cheat code of your life, right? Because I remember playing Grand Theft Auto. It's like you get these cheat codes and you get like unlimited ammo, you get like unlimited resources and stuff like that. I mean, if it was that easy, we wouldn't appreciate life anyway, because I stopped playing Grand Theft Auto, but we're still playing the game of life right now. So, this is a practice that factors into every other area of your life. That's why I want to emphasize it from all these different angles, so that you can truly embody these ideas and live them at the end of the day, right? Talking about them is okay. Speaking about them is okay. Making videos about them is okay. But living them is where the rubber really meets the road. So I hope that you live them. And with that, I conclude this video. Leave a comment below letting me know your #1 takeaway. Okay, and the one implementation step that I promised you towards the end, at the start of the video, is simply to begin getting clarity on what it is that you seek to create. Really paint a crystal clear picture of what your ideal future looks like. And only if you have your life force will you actually be able to do that, right? And then begin to develop gratitude for it every single day. Experience the emotions of gratitude associated with this future state. Think the thoughts that lead to you experiencing the emotions, and your life will totally be transformed. This crow can agree with me right now, okay? So again, like this video if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. This has been Mo, and I will see you in the next video.